Hey YouTubers, today I am going to show you how to pressure cook some chicken that I'm actually going to can. I'm going to go ahead and pressure cook it first to get it to come off the bone, and then I am going to strain everything off of it and use the broth to add to the jars to can with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start off by taking these out of the packages, washing them off real good, and then I'm going to put them into my pressure cooker here. And I put 4 quarts of water in there, and that's for approximately 11 pounds of rear quarters. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by getting that done, and then I'll get them in the pressure cooker. I've got all of my chicken in my cooker. The water level is just right over the top of it. I didn't add any more, that was just the 4 quarts. I'm going to go ahead and throw some seasonings in here just to kind of add some flavor to that broth. Salt and pepper. I've got some dehydrated celery. I'll do that in one of my videos, show you how to dehydrate celery. I'm going to do some onion in the broth, and then they had a 2-pound bag of carrots on sale at the grocery store, so I'm going to slice some carrots up, throw it in there, and then I'm actually going to dehydrate the rest of those carrots and save them for stew or something else down the road. I'll have a video on that too. If you're interested, check it out on my page. But I'm going to go ahead and throw some stuff together. I'm not going to measure, I'm just going to throw stuff in there, whatever kind of looks right. And so I'll go ahead and get this started. There's a video of the inside after I threw all the stuff in, so that might give you kind of an idea of how much I put in of everything. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the lid on it, and I have to cook this at 15 pounds for 10 minutes for the chicken to be done, but I want this to fall off the bone so I can take the bones out and all the other stuff. So I'm actually going to cook this for 20 minutes so it falls off the bone, and then I'm going to strain the broth down and everything, but I'll go over that after everything's done. I just pulled the cover off the top of the cooker, and inside the meat is falling apart, so that's exactly what I wanted. What I'm going to do now is I've got a couple of bowls here. I'm going to separate one with stuff I'm going to throw away, another one, maybe that one, with all the meat that I'm going to save. Then I'm going to take all of the broth that's left over, strain it so it's a nice clean broth, and then I'm going to refrigerate it overnight, and that will make it so that all the fat goes to the top, and then you can just scrape it off, and then you don't have a bunch of fat in your broth. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will catch up with you tomorrow. Tonight I left my broth in the refrigerator, so you can see it kind of put a jelly over the top. That's all the fat and everything. I'm going to scrape that off. I've got my chicken all boned here, and I've got all my jars. I'm going to go ahead and start stuffing my jars with the chicken, and I'm actually going to do 2 different things. I'm going to do chicken noodle soup base without any noodles. It's going to be chicken, celery, corn, or not corn, sorry, carrots. And then I'm just going to do canned chicken. And then I'm going to top it off with broth. I'm going to put that back on the stove, heat that back up, and then start putting broth into all these jars. One thing I want to tell you is, as you can see, maybe the jar on the right is kind of white, and the other one's clear. If you put vinegar in your canning water, it helps keep the jars from turning white like that. I must have forgot, and so that one's white. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and put some vinegar in that water, just like a tablespoon or something. You don't need a lot. But I'm going to go ahead and get started on this, and I'll show you what I got here in a little bit. I'm making the chicken base right now for the chicken noodle soup. I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of chicken bouillon in, and then I've put a 1/2 tablespoon of dehydrated celery, which I'm going to have a video on that, on how to do that, and so you can check that out if you're interested in learning how to do that. I'm going to use baby carrots, and I'm just going to throw, I don't know, maybe a couple, 2, 3 of those in each jar, cut up, and I'm going to dehydrate the rest of that bag too. So if you're interested in learning how to dehydrate carrots or celery, let me know, or check out my other videos. So I'm going to go ahead and get that started, and I'm going to go ahead and put the chicken bouillon also in the jars that are just going to have canned chicken in them also, just to give it a little bit more flavor. I packed all my jars with the chicken, some of them with the chicken noodle soup base, and I am now going to start filling it with the broth that I collected from pressure cooking the chicken. You want to fill it up and give it 3/4 of an inch of head space. So I'm going to go ahead and get that started now, and I'm also going to go ahead and get my pressure canner ready, get the water in it, and get the heat going to it. All of my jars are ready to go. I have all the broth in them, lids on, and I'm getting the canner ready. Once this reaches pressure, for me it is 11 psi, and I have to keep it there for 115 minutes. So once that reaches pressure, I'll set the timer for that, and I'll show you what it looks like after it's done. Here is the finished product. I just pulled them out. They're starting to seal up. You can see still bubbling a little bit. If you have any questions, post them below. I'm going to be doing a lot of canning and dehydrating, so if you're into that kind of thing, subscribe to my channel. I'll have a lot of helpful tips to everything. And thanks for watching.